Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Here we are going to see epicycloid. Epicycloid, as you can see in this video, is generated by means of two circles, one of which is a larger one. It is called as the directing circle, and the small circle is called as the generating circle. When the generating circle is rolling on the outside circumference of the directing circle, then any point on the circumference of the generating circle will trace a curve which is called as epicycloid. This epicycloid has lot of applications in kinematic and design fields. Now, as you can see here, which is the definition of the epicycloid, that is, when a generating circle is rolling on the outside circumference of the directing circle, then any point on the generating circle will trace a path which is called as the epicycloid. So a larger circle is called the directing circle and the smaller circle is called the generating circle. So when generating circle is rolling on the outside circumference of the directing circle, while in one rotation of generating circle it displays a distance of pi d or 2 pi r. Here distance covered is not in the straight path as in the cycloid, but this is in a shape of an arc. So arc means we need only that much portion, that is, for one complete rotation of the generating circle it displaces a distance of 2 pi r, that is in the form of an arc. So this arc will form a sector. This sector is only we have to consider for drawing the epicycloid. The sector portion is having an angle of theta, so we have to determine the value of theta. So we need a formula, that is, from the sector equation we have length of arc equal to the product of the angle theta and radius. So from that particular formula we will get the theta value as length of arc divided by radius of directing circle, that is, length of arc is equal to 2 pi r, where r is the radius of the generating circle. So 2 pi is in radians. While converting it into degree, we will get 2 pi as 360 degree. So we can write theta equal to small r by capital R into 360 degree. So this formula is important and which is used for calculating the sector angle. Here we are going to see a problem related to epicycloid. As you can see here, a circle of diameter 40 mm rolls on the outside of another circle of diameter 160 mm without slipping. Draw the path traced by a point on the smaller circle. Also draw a tangent and normal at any point on the curve. They have given two diameters. So 40 mm diameter circle should be the generating circle and 160 mm diameter circle should be the directing circle. So from the question we have no data related to the name of the curve. We have to identify the name of the curve, whether this is a cycloid or epicycloid or a hypocycloid or involute or whatever. So from the question it is given that a small circle of diameter 40 mm is rolling on the outside of the another circle, which is in fact the definition of the epicycloid. So directly we can take it as an epicycloid. For drawing epicycloid, there is a set of procedures. First step is to draw a circle of diameter 160 mm, which is the directing circle. Next we can draw the generating circle on the outer circumference of the directing circle. For that we have to draw a straight line connecting the center of this particular circle here. With any angle we can draw this straight line which is having a distance that is equal to the summation of radius of generating and directing circles. We have here generating circle radius is 40 by 2 20 mm and directing circle radius is 160 by 2 80 mm. So summation is 80 plus 20 100 mm. So here we have this line which is equal to 100 mm at any angle. Now we can draw generating circle of radius 20 mm with the center here at this point. Now next step is to divide this generating circle into 12 equal parts. We already have seen this step in cycloid. One circle is 360 degree, so dividing into 12 parts gives 30 degree of angle. So with that angle we can divide the circle. This small circle, which is the generating circle, is now divided into 12 equal parts, and I have marked the points on the circumference of the circle as 1 2 3 up to 12 in anti-clockwise direction. So next step here, we have to find the angle of the sector. I have already told you there will be a sector formed while the circle is rolling on the circumference of the directing circle with one rotation. It will cover pi d or 2 pi r distance. We have already seen that angle of sector is equal to small r by capital R into 360 degree, where small r is the radius of generating circle, capital R is the radius of directing circle. So here small r is equal to 20 mm, capital R is equal to 80 mm, and we will get an angle of 90 degree. So we have to draw a line starting with this center here with an included angle of 90 degree like this. So this line can be extended. Next we only need this upper portion of the drawing, so we can erase the lower portion of the directing circle. Now we can mark the center of the sector here as O. Next step is to draw different arcs with the center O and connecting different points on the circumference of the generating circle like this. So we will get a figure like this. The arc here, which is passing through the center of this generating circle, is marked in different color. This arc is the central axis arc, so it should be drawn as dotted lines which we used to draw like central axis. Next step is we have to divide the sector portion here into 12 equal parts. For that we have already taken the included angle here as 90 degree, so we just need to divide the angle into 12 equal parts. 90 divided by 12 gives 7.5, so we have to divide with an included angle of 7.5 degree like this. Here the division lines starting from the center of the sector O is intersecting the central axis arc at different points. So these different points can be considered as different centers. So we have got different centers C1, C2, C3, C4 up to C12 here. Next step is we have to draw an arc with the center C1 and radius 20 mm, which is the radius of the generating circle, and this arc should be intersecting the arc which is passing through points 11 and 1 here. Next we have to draw an arc with the center C2 with the same radius 20 mm, which intersects the arc which passing through 10 and 2 here, the second arc. Next we have to draw another arc with the center C3 with the same radius of 20 mm, which intersects the arc passing through 9 and 3, third arc. Then we have to draw another arc of center C4 with the same radius of 20 mm, which intersects the arc passing through 8 and 4. Similarly, we have to connect arcs from different centers C5, C6, C7 up to C12 with the same radius of 20 mm. Finally, we can connect these different intersection of arcs for getting the required epicycloid, like this is the required epicycloid. The last procedure is to draw tangent and normal. So for that we have to mark any point on the epicycloid. Let's say I am going to take a point here. Let's say this point is considered as P. For drawing tangent and normal, we have to draw an arc of radius 20 mm, which is the radius of the generating circle, with the center P, and this arc should be intersecting the central arc here, like this. Next, it is needed to draw a line which is connecting the intersection here and the center of the sector O. Now this particular line is intersecting the directing circle here at this point, so it is needed to join this intersection here with the point P here. This particular line is the required normal. For drawing the tangent, we have to draw a line which is perpendicular to this particular normal. This is how we can draw epicycloid with tangent and normal. Hope you understand the concept. Thank you for watching, and let's catch up with another video.